Welcome back to Rap. This is the top 20 albums. We have made it. Thank you for sticking out with us this long. My name's Ryan Key.
My name is Colton Hinderliter.
And today we have a special guest returning.
What's up, people? My name's Stansell. I'm here to represent CHH. I'm here for the culture. Let's go.
Woo, woo, woo. All right, so we're going to start with not CHH. So my number 20 album is by her, and it is called I Used to Know Her. I have to shout out Allie Mae for making me listen to this. She texted me one night and was like, hey, did you listen to this? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she was like, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face if you don't do it. And so I listened to it, and I loved it. So you remember, if you hearken all the way back to when we mentioned Kalani and how I needed her to make me feel something, this is what I'm talking about. This whole album had me in my feels in ways that I did not expect to get from this album.
Yeah.
This album's super. First of all, it's just super good.
Grammys love it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They really love it.
Yeah, she deserves it. All of it. Just all of it. Whether she wins or not, TBD.
Yeah.
However, I really do feel like this was an album that you could appreciate more so because of I see why the Grammys appreciated it after listening to it.
Yeah.
This album is so good. It starts off featuring by DJ Scratch. There's 2 YB and Cordae features on here.
My boy.
He kills both of those. But even on her own, her just carries his album. If you're going to be a solo artist, I feel like you should listen to this. If you're not just trying to set out to do something amazing, if you're just I'm going to make an album and people are going to love it because it's me, I feel like I know who her is more so after listening to this than I did any time beforehand. And I really feel like everything else she puts out, I'm going to listen to it the moment it comes out after listening, because this album is so good. And she has bars.
That Bryson Tiller feature is so good.
She got Bryson Tiller back.
She
brought Bryson Tiller back.
He brought her on tour for his last album, and that's how I first heard about her. And then now she's featuring him, and he's blowing up.
And another hot take, because we're just doing that apparently. I like her better than I like Bryson Tiller. And I feel like that featuring Bryson Tiller thing is just, that is where that needs to land, because her is incredible.
Heavy sigh from Colton, because he's a big Bryson Tiller stan. But I do understand the validity of your statement. Moving on with some continual more feeling and soulful, we've got a revisit to our good old Mister by Leslie Odom Jr.
Hey.
Man, yeah, we talked about this album a couple episodes back, but it's so good. Under Pressure was the first song I heard from this album, and when I heard Under Pressure, I said, yep, it's going to be a good one. And it is incredible. I think it helped him break out as a standalone artist more and stop living in the shadow of Hamilton, as we talked about before. The fact that it mixes jazz with lo-fi hip-hop, with musical theater, it's very genre bending and incredible. He's doing really good stuff for himself and his career with this album, and yeah, it's just, I think everyone should listen to it. I think if you're gonna buy one piece of vinyl this year from any of these albums that we've listed, it should be this one. And he just recently announced his tour today, so I think that it definitely is worth checking that out, because he's playing small venues, so super intimate shows that you can get up and really feel his sweat falling onto you from the big band. So good stuff from
what an interesting way to put that.
Good stuff from another Hamilton alum, because we've had 3 or 4 thus far between Anthony, David, and him.
Yeah. All right, so my number 19 is another return. It is Midnight by Set It Off.
Oh man, there it is.
So
I was wondering where this is gonna fall.
Yeah. So Set It Off being one of my favorite bands ever. I put Set It Off in probably my top 3 artists, just personal favorites of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I put them up there.
Is that your number 1 band too then?
No, not my number 1 band. Linkin Park is my number 1 band.
Okay, that's right.
There it is.
And that's your number 1 artist too?
R.P. Chester.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give Linkin Park that overall number 1.
Okay.
R.I.P. Chester.
R.I.P. Chester. I apologize to Max Miniker for having a full breakdown on our couch senior year while watching that performance. But anyway, so going back through this album, I feel like this was an album that, one, I loved it the moment it came out. I thought because it was kind of a return to that darker sound that I had found them with from like Cinematics.
That is true.
Horrible Kids way back when. And I really I love Poppy Set It Off, but I love Angry Set It Off. And we got a whole lot more Angry Set It Off here than we did at any other spots. In watching that and watching them make this album through their like web series where they kind of gave glimpses into the process.
Oh, yeah.
It was super interesting to see how they kind of return to their like pop punk kind of roots in this, and with like Cody dyeing his hair blue again after just kind of going natural. I really feel like this was kind of them coming back to being like, we deserve our spot, like, because they kind of had gotten written off a little bit as kind of like this really poppy, like, oh, they're the boy band of the Warped Tour scene. And I feel like, well, like they kind of did get there, but it also, I feel like, didn't really lend itself to how good these guys are musically. And I feel like this is an album that I appreciate a lot just because it's the boys.
Yeah.
But also, I remember going to see them live in Atlanta and getting to watch them do this in person because they played a significant number of these songs. Like, it is a 15-track album. I'd say they at least touched 13 of these, which I really appreciate. And I feel like going back through that and watching them do this live and how they like came back through and how they like, it was, the set list was ordered differently than I would have put it, but it very much felt like an album tour, and it felt like they were really, really on the scene and then arriving in a spot where they're no longer that band that made that song about worrying in 2014.
Yeah.
Great song, still love that song. But I feel like this project kind of separated themselves out from that because there's a lot of songs on here that feel super, super anthemic. And like Dancing with the Devil, I feel like is super anthemic. Lonely Dance, which was their intro on the tour. Perfect intro, by the way. Just the way that it came out. And you can tell that they have a real connection with their fans. And
they do.
The way they do their live shows also very translates to how this album was marketed, because this tour was very blue. If that makes sense.
I agree. That's why I said on my review of this was like, I like the marketing of this and how everything was like blue. The hair is blue. The cover is blue.
Yeah.
The hand symbols are blue.
Yeah.
Like it's a mood, and they not Eiffel 65, but they blue.
Yeah, and it's not like a melancholy blue that I feel like a lot of people fall into, where like, oh, we're gonna make this blue, so it has to be super sad. Like, there are sad songs on here.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's a dark blue. It's like a you don't know what's coming. It's like that midnight blue that
Indigo.
you get a lot. So I feel like that really lended itself to my love of this album. I also have to mention the fact that they got Skylar Accord, who is the bass player for Issues on this album.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he
Word.
helped write the last song on here. It's called Happy All the Time, which is also, just content-wise, they spend a lot of time talking about mental health and relationships in different ways and how you don't have to be happy all the time. And I feel like that is very important, because I feel like a lot of times in music that mental health discussion goes, you are either sad and everything sucks, and then suddenly you're happy, and they're like, that's not really how this works. And I really deeply appreciate that. And also they let Max, their drummer, go nuts on this record.
That's true.
And he's a really, really, really good drummer. And I feel like continuing, I'm going to try to get out to the Sleeping with Sirens tour to see them. And I'm really, really looking forward to whatever they come next with. Because recently they released a new song called Catch Me If You Can. And I originally thought that it was going to be projected as like, oh, the single, just Catch Me If You Can, that's it. But actually, it's under an album called After Midnight Part 1. So it's kind of like a continuation of this midnight concept. I also think them jumping labels is the best thing that they could have possibly done.
Where are they now?
book. Give me 1 second because I'm terrible and I don't.
Where were they?
I think they were on Epitaph before.
Okay.
They're no longer
Interesting.
with them, because I remember after Upside Down came out, I thought that, excuse me, they were signed to Equal Vision
Okay.
Records, and now they are on Fearless.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like they did all that they could do on Equal Vision. And because I remember when Upside Down came out, and I was like, this could be like that was their radio album. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of those songs was saved for maybe like even Hypnotized, which was the most explicit thing that they've ever done. I was like, I could hear that on the radio, and it wasn't happening, And I remember just kind of thinking, I was like, there's like some disconnect here, and I feel like them jumping labels really, really helped, like, push this album to where it was, and it felt like they had a little bit more freedom, and they didn't need to kind of fit this mold, because I feel like they had to kind of fit this mold of being, they're the most radio friendly band on this label. I personally think that they need to jump labels one more time over to Fuel By, because I feel like if they could get on a tour with like a Panic at the Disco,
that would really,
like a 21 Pilots, I feel like that would just do wonders.
Yeah.
So, general side note, I'm going to talk about this a lot later, but if you are not aware, labels take a huge role in artists' sounds. So that's all I'm going to say for right now, because I'm going to talk about it later. I just wanted to get it out there.
All right.
I feel like Equal Vision was definitely pushing that pop sound on them a little bit. And even though I know they write their music, I feel like Equal Vision was like, all right, we're going to make you guys our radio band. That's what we're going to do. And that didn't happen. Because, like, if you look at Upside Down and you listen to it, it has so many songs that could definitely be radio hits. I.e., the title track, Upside Down, is one of the most positive songs ever. And it has that nice little trumpet solo that's in there. And it's, like, super, like, fun and, like, bouncy. And it's really cool live, but it's not something that it was something I was, like, waiting to hear on the radio. I was waiting to, like, get really excited to turn on, like, 99.7, like, Q100 in Atlanta and just Set It Off and get, like, yo, the boys are here. And that never happened. And I feel like them jumping and kind of getting to make music that feels more like old Set It Off again.
I agree.
Is a much better move for them. So I'm really, really glad that I got to witness this project live and listen to it as much as I did.
Yeah.
It also came out while I was on the cruise ship, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to do much else.
Yeah, it came out a while ago, which is pretty wild to think of.
It stuck with me for a minute. I constantly go back to songs on here that weren't pushed, like No Disrespect. Happy All the Time, even Midnight Thoughts, which is technically the title track, but I feel like it was something that, because it was the last song of the main set of the live show, and I appreciated how they kind of closed with that, and then they came back and gave us Wolf in Sheep's Clothing from Duality.
Yeah.
Definitely a band that people should look for and like keep an eye out on, because these guys are so good, and these guys deserve all of everything that's coming to them. Just hopefully they don't drop to a 2-piece anytime soon.
Yeah, for real. All right, so my number 19 is Keep Going by Mike Posner. So this was his second project he released this year. It was deemed a mixtape, and it was pretty much a complete surprise that it was coming out, because as soon as he finished his walk across America, he was like, oh, by the way. No, he was in Arizona. He wasn't even done yet. He was in Arizona, and he was like, oh, by the way, here's an entire project. Like, oh. And he was dropping songs throughout his walk across America, because he put out Look What I've Become with Ty Dolla $ign, which is a bop. Very pretty much early on in the walk. Same with the Wiz song that's on here. I think there's another song as well. Slow It Down, which is probably one of my favorite songs in the whole album. And then he just dropped the whole project. So it's super dope. And it was like all this music that he recorded before he went on the walk, but it sounded like he had recorded it while he was walking, which was the cool part of it. Is this whole concept of him discovering himself through this walk, and he recorded all of this through expectations of what he thought he would learn. And he had a song also with my boy Logic. No one even knew. Logic didn't even say nothing, and I was like, yo! So it was great, and yeah, it's a beautiful project. I sat down in my living room, I listened to it, and it's one of those ones. It just takes you on a journey. If like you were on this transformative walk with him, and it just changed me as a person.
You talked about how this was an album that he made for himself to listen to while he was walking.
Yeah,
and I can definitely hear that, like those little bits of encouragement that come out through it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a beautifully encouraging, inspirational album, and he titled it after the words that his personal trainer who prepared him for the walk kept telling him, which was like, yo, keep going, because like you get out there, you gotta walk like thousands of miles, like you can't just like stop. So yeah, man, Mike Posner really drops music that just like makes you like, question yourself as a person. It's awesome. So keep going is def one that it's not too heavy, but it's just heavy enough that like you're gonna want to pause for a minute and really think about your life and your choices.
All right, so my number 18 is Labyrinth, Sia, and Diplo present LSD.
I forgot about that one.
And exactly. So here's the thing. If you have not listened to this,
then why is it 18?
Or
I'm dead.
If you haven't listened to this, or if you didn't know this existed, I need you to stop listening to this right now. Pull up Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Napster, LimeWire, if you're still living in that era.
Whoa.
And go listen to this.
Bruh.
Because this is my sleeper of the year.
Yeah.
Because I saw this and did not expect this to be anything.
Yeah.
I expected this to just be another Diplo side project that I wasn't going to care about because I just want Diplo to make trap music again. And that is exactly what did not happen. This project is so good from start to finish. And Labyrinth is about to be a superstar. Like, Sia's already a superstar. Diplo's going to Diplo. But we're going to talk about Labyrinth a little bit more later. But this project as a whole is so interesting and is so not convoluted.
Yeah.
And also, they got Lil Wayne to rap.
Yo,
I was about to
that
say.
Lil Wayne remix.
Like, Genius was a great song on its own. Like, it was a bop on its own.
Yeah.
And then the way they're like, you know what? We're going to take this song that's already fantastic, and then we're going to give you Lil Wayne in it. And this is not like Lean in My Cup Lil Wayne. This is the Carter Lil Wayne. And that made me so happy. Also, I don't think anyone has ever said the alphabet like that and gotten me that hype ever. Including Miss Patti LaBelle on Sesame Street. So, please stop what you're doing and listen to this project.
Boy.
It is fantastic. And I'll fight anybody that tells me otherwise.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. I totally haven't sat down and listened to the whole thing because I listened to it in pieces because it was singles. And then the whole thing came out and I was like, oh, wait, I forgot. Like, because it constructed over time. We're going to revisit from my number 18, Olympus by John Keith. Man, like, because Gavi didn't drop, I needed some other hype CHH Travis Scott level beats to bring me through the year, and John Keith brought it. Like, he was literally in his bag.
Oh, God.
It's fine. Took you a second.
Dang it.
But no, he spit. It was fire. I love the concept of it, of starting with like Olympus and like the Olympian Greek gods and the comparison to like the real Christianity God that he believes in. Strong features, cool. Also, a really super cool cover art of him as like a statue before he cut his hair. I really like his hair that way.
R.I.P. the dreads.
R.I.P. the dreads. But solid project. It's one of those that I revisit and I just listen to the whole thing and I just don't stop because I'm just like, I'm on this roller coaster. I'm about to get hype. I'm about to start a mosh pit.
I'm gonna say two things.
What you got?
Actually, maybe two things.
What you got?
So first, I talked about him in an earlier episode. If you haven't checked that out yet, definitely go do that. Because he was on Ryan's list earlier. But John Keith. This is different than what I said before, so definitely go check it out. But one of the coolest things, another song I want to shout out is Up Next, which has my boy Paul Russell in it, who's another up-and-coming artist. And what's interesting to me about that song is he references listening to Andy Mineo. And he's like watching 116 videos trying to rap just like Mineo. And so he is honestly, he's super good about honoring the culture, and I think he's looking back at a time when there weren't very many artists to look up to. There just weren't, and I'm gonna talk about Andy more later, but I think Andy is a great role model to have as a musician. And I think him kind of doing that shout out is saying, okay, you know, like I hear all these greats out here, and I'm trying to say like we up next.
Yeah,
like that's us. Like
Yeah.
that's us next. And some kid 10 years from now is gonna say, I was listening to John Keith, trying to rap like John Keith. And
it's a cycle.
I think he's just pointing out this cyclical aspect of like music and influence. But then also, as far as bops go, Bag. We didn't talk about it a lot last time, but Bag.
Whew.
I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this again later when we talk about No Big Deal, and I'm gonna talk about labels with that too. Somebody somewhere, at some point in his life, told No Big Deal that he wasn't allowed to rap, and he got free of that. He got free of that sin. Lord help him, and he started rapping. And Bag, I think, is the first, like, one of the first, like, occurrences of what he deems himself as mixtape Dilly, where he says, like, this is a different Dilly. He calls it phase 2 of his career.
Wow.
Which that's if you know the album art for Lowercase Tape, we're gonna talk about it a little bit later. He has a big 2 chain, like a chain with 2 on it.
Wait, that's why he has a 2?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about Lowercase Tape. I know there's lots of symbolism in Lowercase Tape. Yeah. But anyway, so at least that's what we assume. But I think Bag is both John Keith and No Big Deal flexing a little bit and saying like, we can rap.
If I may quote, and I'm not going to do this justice because I'm not going to rap it.
Oh boy.
But this man said, yeah, rap is too easy. We making oldies in here.
Oh yeah.
Like Shoodoo, my demons using voodoo. I'll plead the blood like Sue Whoop. Your verses smell like doo-doo. You trying to stream like Hulu. I'm trying to free the free world. I probably got a loose screw. When Dilly dropped that new, there go you, your crew, and you too. I messed that up because Lord knows how hyped that gets me every time I hear it. Like people don't flow like that ever.
Because the ooh woo sound of it always he has a really good cadence, and I think I don't know. I'm gonna talk about Dilly later, but. John Keith, as far as John Keith goes, I think one of the other things that sticks out to me about this album is just the features of it.
Yes.
Because he features both pretty established people in No Big Deal and Derek Minor, and then some less known people in Joey Vantes, Gavin the Hot Rod, and Paul Russell. If you don't know Gavin the Hot Rod, go check him out. But I don't know. It was a really complete project. I think if you go listen to his older music, Honey Blonde was the previous project, and then Lost Boys before that. Both of those felt very mixtapey, and this one definitely doesn't. Like I feel like this is a lot more cohesive. So John Keith is on his way up for sure.
He spits.
Yeah. Also, one thing I didn't realize about that verse is that he shouts out Mowgli the Iceberg, Mana, and Lil Holy at the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lil Holy, we're going to talk about WHATUPRG now.
Oh, segue.
Y'all got me out here talking. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so my number 17 is RAUL by WHATUPRG.
RAUL.
If you don't know, Raul is his first name.
Yes.
That's his real name.
He's the R.
Yeah.
So I personally, before we get into the nitty gritty, because I'm sure we're going to talk about this a lot over the next 2 episodes, I'm going to go through this quickly because we can have a long discussion about this. So my personal favorite track is the Spanish language tracks Niaki on this.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember listening to that the first time, and I just kind of got up, and you just have to sway to it. It's just like he does, like he has such a good way of like bringing you in vocally, and so that you are just kind of in this world, and it feels like you're floating like through this album. With all that being said, if you are looking for an album that is super light, maybe he's like, yay, Jesus is great.
Nope. This
Do not.
This not the one.
Do not
This
trip
ain't
this.
it.
This ain't the
This
one.
ain't it, dog.
Yo, this, like he has a story, and I greatly appreciate the fact that he is actively telling said story, and it's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all like
Good. Like
good. Yeah, it's not
rainbows and puppies.
Yeah, he doesn't be like, he's not like everything sucks, but he's also not like everything is yogurt. Like you like, it is really, really deep in a way that makes you think about it, and that's something that I can appreciate. And I really enjoyed getting to go to his headlining show in Atlanta and like getting to meet him and not like hang out for a bit, but getting to just see how appreciative of it, appreciative. Wow, hold on, can't speak. That verse got me messed up, but I love how he is so like in the moment right now, and I can't wait to see whatever he puts out next. Yeah, I say we can this until we come back to it, because I feel like we could talk for hours and hours.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
I'll save my conversation.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
later,
We're
'cause I got a
gonna
lot.
put a rain check on it.
I got a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna put a rain check on it. We gonna come back.
But definitely check out Raul.
Oh yeah, that's fire. So number 17 for me is Zuzu by Denzel Curry. Man, Denzel.
He's the one.
He was just recently voted by the Genius community, anyone who voted on Instagram, basically, as the lyricist of the year by the Genius community. The Genius admins voted Wale as the lyricist of the year. And we're not gonna talk about it.
You can't see my face right now, but that was the most confused I've been all day.
Yeah, but they voted him, Denzel Curry, which surprised me because the last round was him versus J. Cole. And I'm shocked that the community chose Denzel over J. Cole because of popularity. Who did I choose? I chose Curry because, one, he put out a full-length project that is just his, and two, I love to root for an underdog. I don't know if I like Zoo better than Taboo or not, because Taboo is one of my favorite projects of last year. But man, Zoo is still good. It's a very interesting concept of, it is all about Florida in the 90s and when he was growing up and his father and everything like that. So it tells like this interesting story, has some super dope interludes, and it's just Denzel being Denzel. It is fun. Speedboat is a bop. And Ricky, whoo, the bars, man. The bars. It's so good. Like, and I think he is one of the best like rappers right now. He's gonna be one of those rappers that's gonna rule the 2020s, because
For sure.
Taboo was amazing. This was amazing.
And he keeps growing.
He's growing, and he's a really cool dude. You watch him in interviews, you watch him unbag his 10 essentials on GQ, or you watch him break down his lyrics. He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's just so interesting. Also, he's our age, and he raps that well, and he's gone through that much stuff in his life. Imagine what he's gonna be like when he's like 30. Man.
So I remember watching that video of him and Billie Eilish playing Ninja during their sound check.
Yeah.
LOL.
And he opened for Billie Eilish on her tour, which I thought was really a smart move on whoever decided to choose that, because like it exposed him to a much larger audience given how popular she is. And like, yeah, she's like this dark pop, and then bringing along like this almost SoundCloud grunge level rapper.
Yeah.
Really cool. Like, if you want to get mosh pit, you bring Denzel Curry with you, because he's gonna show you like the grunge.
He did that tour
side.
based on wrestling with Flatbush Zombies.
Oh
Where they
yeah,
rapped
yeah,
in the middle
yeah,
of a
yeah.
wrestling ring.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He did the one night tour thing that they did in like New York.
Yeah.
Wild.
And it makes sense, and that's what's so interesting about him. Was like when I first got into him, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, because I wasn't all about like that grunge. Let me just scream this entire thing. Yeah, I wasn't sure how I felt about that sound, but he's actually been seldom doing that lately, which I'm okay with. But when he does do it, it's super dope, and you're just like, energy.
Turned me into a Denzel Curry fan.
Huh?
Because when he did that cover of Bulls on Parade.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah. You right.
He did that, and I like, because I knew him just based on like his most popular song, but I remember listening to that and being like, oh, he really is out here doing this, and I was like, go with it now.
Have you heard his cover of Bad Brains' Eye Against Eye?
I've not.
It's so good. He did it with Spotify,
Ooh.
and it's awesome, because like he's this kind of rapper who could have his own band. He could do the Vic Mensa thing, have his own band, and he would be awesome at it, as well as go out and be a solo rapper. He also, I think, did some super notable features this year on people's projects and singles like Psycho, A Slow Tie, and all that stuff. Man, he's coming up, and this is a strong project from him that I encourage everyone to go listen to. I would listen to it twice, though, to understand all of it. That's my 19. What you got?
All right.
I mean, 17. Wow.
So
Take it
my
back.
number 16 is by a guy that I think is going to become known as one of the greatest vocalists of the 21st century.
Oh?
And his name is Alan Stone.
Oh,
And the
yeah, you
album
mentioned
is
him.
Building Balance. And oh my God. Alan Stone is incredible in the fact that he is so unassuming in the way he looks and the way he talks that when he begins to sing, you are not prepared for how much soul he delivers with every word. He has this way of like sucking you in vocally and then just like punching you in the face. And I remember he did a stint on American Idol as like a guest artist for a little bit. My introduction to him was his song Unaware and American Privilege, which are two older songs from him, but they're both absolutely phenomenal. This album, I feel like, was some of his most heartfelt work. It's also very different from what I came to expect from him, because I kind of expected this like soft rock, almost neo soul kind of feeling from it. And like he kind of moves in a way that it's very balanced. It's like a little bit of I'd say it's a touch of everything. This is that dish that you cook that calls for the most random little items that you're like, why would you put this in here? But as soon as you add it, it makes that difference, you know? And I really, really feel like he's somebody that everyone should keep an eye on to and listen to, because boy can sing just flat out.
Also, he was on The Heist by Macklemore.
Yeah.
Like
he
way
was.
back.
Oh, wow.
He
Yeah.
was way back when.
Wow.
And also, if you ever want a song just to sit down and think about, listen to American Privilege. It's from his 2016 project Radius, and let me know what you think, because it's a lot, and I love y'all.
It sounds like a lot from the top.
But some of y'all won't be able to handle that song. Straight up, y'all won't be able to handle that. So please check out Alan Stone. He also this is another sidebar. He did when like he was kind of doing his like press tour for this album. It wasn't like a true press tour. Like he did a couple performances on some like radio things and some TV, but he also did this thing where he would just go out and do karaoke with his fans. And like he would sing some of his songs kind of in a karaoke setting, but if you wanted to get up there and you wanted to pull out "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye, he would be like, "Yeah, come on, let's do it." And you would get up there and you would sing that with him. I would never want to sing anything with him because he would just make me look terrible. And I'm sure he's a super wonderful guy.
Yeah.
But he can sing. Like you know those people that just have those voices that you can't forget. He is one of those voices, and I'm super glad that I found him. So that is Alan Stone, Building Balance.
Dope.
Wow. All right, my number 16. Speaking of J. Cole versus Denzel Curry, we got Revenge of the Dreamers 3 by Dreamville and various artists. This is like the one case where a label compilation album was not just like good, but great.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. And I remember like watching like the lead up to it with everyone talking about, oh man, J. Cole got all these artists together for like 10 days in a studio in Atlanta. Like he was pulling all of his label, which is him, JID, and all these other great people like
Boz.
Earth Gang. Yeah, Boz.
Lil Nudie.
Ari Lennox.
Shout out Lil Nudie.
And
The
then
Baby.
And then he brought in like all these other people, like a DaBaby and Nudie and all that kind of stuff. And it was really interesting from watching that on the outside. But then when he dropped this, we were all like, yo. Yeah, T.I., everything. And what was cool was like
The GOAT.
it was this mixed bag where the label didn't just say, okay, you artists, y'all gonna go in that studio, y'all gonna make a song for us, and it's gonna be number 5 in the album. Okay, cool, have fun, and it's very by the book. This was like, we don't know how this is gonna turn out. We're just going to have people show up. We're just going to have the whole studio. People are just going to kind of live here and migrate for 10 days, and we're going to see what happens. And that's what happened. And somehow it like worked out to be super cohesive at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it was rap, but also there's some R&B songs on there. That Ty Dolla $ign and Ari Lennox song was a great interlude in between all of the hard-hitting bars. Mm-hmm. And just the amount of bars in itself on this album, whether it's J. Cole, JID, Earth Gang, a feature from like Ski Mask, like
Ski Mask, the Schlump God.
The Schlump God.
Ski Mask can rap though.
Ski Mask could rap on this.
Yeah, Ski Mask can rap.
Also, shout out to Buddy.
Yeah.
Because he was like apparently a beast in the studio and was just trying to get himself like on every single track. And he ended up on a couple tracks and he did really, really well.
So I'm looking. I see his name on Wells Fargo, which is
that
probably
song.
It's such a highlight for me because
Agreed.
You can tell like the organic nature of it.
Yes.
And if you watch
the documentary,
you can see like legit GID, Earth Gang, Buddy, and a couple of other people are all like shoved into this booth, just shouting, "We're gonna go rob a Wells Fargo!" Like at the top of their lungs. Like it is so funny to watch. Like literally, like they can't jump, like they can't move.
No,
and they're just like jumping around trying to say like all the things that they're trying to say, and it just sounds super like fun. And they, as far as I know, the entire intro to it was pretty much ad-libbed.
You just made up.
Like, pass me the bazooka.
Yeah,
like that.
This is like a
all,
true one-take freestyled song.
Yeah.
Like, they just, like, thought of it and did it and ended up being one of my favorite songs in the album.
It's wild. It's crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And also, I think if this album tells us anything, because he didn't drop an official project this year, JID next to Denzel is going to rule 2020s. Because JID's...
really good.
Because if we're looking for that new Kendrick or that new J. Cole, that new lyricist that we need to carry us into like the future, it's JID.
I was listening to DiCaprio too. Like,
yeah,
I'm interested to see. You're right. I'm interested to see where J. Cole goes too, because I know he's done with features. He's going platinum with no features again.
Oh my gosh.
But I gotta shout out Middle Child on here.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the only song on the entire project without more than one artist on it.
Mm-hmm.
Being J. Cole, I mean, he gets the right to do that.
He is the label head. He's the person who ran this whole thing.
But Middle Child, I think, really highlights J. Cole's spot in the culture, being like in the middle, because he's younger than like Hove and Dre and 50 Cent and M and all those people. He's younger than them, but he's older than Lil Pump, Juice,
Smoke Perp, all that kind of stuff,
like all those people. And so like he truly does slide into this thing. Also, if you're gonna listen to any track on that entire thing, listen to Down Bad.
Yes.
Because
man, when Down Bad came
trying to
out,
listen to rap.
Yeah.
Like if you like look up rap in a dictionary, Down Bad will be right there. That's some crazy.
You can tell they're just having fun.
Yeah,
too.
and
like,
it's so this whole album too is so distinctly Southern. Like it is Atlanta,
Yeah,
it is North Carolina,
Yeah.
it is great, and I'm really, really glad that the Grammys acknowledged it as like both Rap Album of the Year and Middle Child is also nominated for song. It's another song from here too. I think it's like J. Cole versus J. Cole for like Rap Song of the Year, and I'm like, LOL, of course it is.
And also, if you ever just want to laugh, watch the video of J. Cole listening to a Lambo truck for the first time and hearing them talking about pulling over and robbing them.
Yeah,
because that will forever be hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
So on to something distinctly not hilarious. So my next album coming at 15 is Tim by Avicii, which is his post-death project.
Yeah.
And dude, I cried all the way through this album. I can't even front. I've always been a big fan of Avicii, and this is like beyond Levels and Can't Wake Me Up and all that stuff. And I really feel like he was one of the greatest producers and artists to come out of the EDM boom of the 2000s.
Yeah.
And because he had a very distinct voice in that he made house music and he made like your typical jumpy stuff, but he always had a flair for adding the unexpected into it. Like nobody expected his songs with Dan Tyminski to take off like they did. Dan Tyminski being, of course, the guy that sang in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou." He sang for George Clooney, so he sang "Man of Constant Sorrow," and I feel like things like this album shows kind of the potential he had to bridge the gaps between genres. Just like looking at some of these features, like he has Imagine Dragons, he got Arizona on here, Noonie Bao, excuse me, sorry, emotional again. This project is beautiful, and there's not a lot of music that comes out that you can kind of just tag that this is absolutely beautiful label on there. But this album is beautiful from start to finish in a way that you could play it out and just kind of sit there, and if you need a nice cry, even if you're not like, oh, Avicii's dead, I'm gonna cry about it, like if you just need something to cry to that's not just sad, listen to this. It's very, very moving throughout, and I really hope that, and I really wish that he hadn't left us when he did.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he still had a whole lot to offer the world and a whole lot of positive music to bring us. But that is Tim by Avicii.
Rest in peace, Avicii.
Sorry for making it sad again.
You good?
Next, the next album for me, number 15, is Eve by Rhapsody, which I believe was completely robbed by the Grammys. And I'm very upset that it is not nominated for Best Rap Album, because of any Grammys thus far, if there's been one Grammys that really wants to showcase women, it's this one. Because they had the head of the Grammys come out, who is a woman, newly appointed recently, because the last one was terrible. And a lot of the nominations have been super female heavy, and it's amazing. But I felt like last year, by nominating Cardi B, and I guess her winning too, it showed like, oh man, like we believe in women in the rap game, because that is a very legitimate thing. And this year was all dudes, and I'm like, bruh, Rhapsody is right here. Like, come on, are you blind?
Where's the lie?
Yeah, like I don't understand. It feels like a step backwards to me. And there's some people I'm like on these rap nominations that I'm like, you know what? You're mid. You can go. I'm gonna put Rhapsody in instead, but it's act like she never existed, which is weird because they nominated her last album, Layla's Wisdom, in 2017 for Best Rap Album. So it's not like they don't know who she is.
Right.
This is true.
And Eve was an album that is distinctly meant for females. It is named, and every single song on it is named after powerful African American females. Nina, as in Nina Simone, and she samples Nina Simone's like Strange Fruit. No, it's Aretha Franklin's Strange Fruit, which is like one of the most haunting songs in like all of history. And girl can rap, like girl spits. She also had solid features on here as well. She had Queen Latifah. Like, bruh. Like, come on. Rhapsody is a rapper's rapper. She first came to prominence on To Pimp a Butterfly. She was one of like 3-4 features on that weren't part of the creative team on that album, because Kendrick was like, give me Rhapsody. And then Jay-Z was like, give me Rhapsody, I'm finna sign her. And then she also featured D'Angelo, who hasn't done things in a hot minute. And then also a song with JID and Sir from Top Dog Entertainment, and another notable feature from J. Cole. So I don't understand. I think this album is extremely underrated. It is super dope, full of bars, and it is so good for like female culture, black culture, and rap culture. And I don't know, it's a critic's choice, and it should be more recognized. Hot take. It's 2020, almost 2020, so come on.
Dope.
That's my soapbox album for this entire podcast.
Oh, I can't wait till I get on my soapbox again. That'd be great. All right, so my next album coming in at number 14 is Amine. It's got 1.5.
Wait, was that this year?
That was this year. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. We're calling it this year. It was 2018, but I'm calling it this year.
I was like, was that this year?
No, so I missed out, and I feel like because I missed out, I had to put it on here because it's so
good.
Oh God.
It took me a second to be like, I'm like 1.5. I mean, wait.
Like, no, it is a 2018 album, but I am
Oh,
cheating.
it is a full-on 2018 album,
It's a
sir.
2018 album, but I am cheating. I am putting it on here because I miss it because, I was asleep. Just
Dude, yeah.
Sleep.
Because this was on my list last year.
He's sleep.
And I feel like I disrespected him, and I feel like I disrespected myself, and I feel like I disrespected his fans by not listening to it last year, even though it was very much recommended. But I'm going to sneak this on here. Not really sneak this on here, but I'm going to put this on here.
Yeah.
Because it is that good.
Oh, yeah.
And there is so much regret that I didn't find this earlier. Because I knew of it. Like, I had seen people be like, yo, listen to this. And I was like,
Me?
no. For some reason, I guess I'm stupid. But I'm just going to say that I love this album. If it was on my list last year, it was probably going to be close to number one. Mm-hmm. Just like it's 14 this year. And I feel like this is one of those classics that's a sleeper.
Yes.
That more people like me that didn't necessarily know or didn't necessarily care to listen when it came out are going to go back and like approach it much, much better. And I feel like it's got a lot of room to grow.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a lot of room to just rock it.
He's so underrated because he can spit and he can sing really well too. He got it. He got the Lizzo effect. He got it both. And man, I reel it in. Bop. Blackjack. Bop. Shine.
Bop.
Singing. Beautiful.
Bop.
Ratchet Saturn Girl. Beautiful. And then 3 good solid features from Gunna, G Herbo, and Rico Nasty.
Yeah, which honestly, if you're gonna pull solid features out of anybody, especially like coming into 2019, you can get a solid feature out of Gunna, you're straight.
Yeah.
And
it was a good Gunna feature.
Yeah. And again, I'm gonna apologize to him for the disrespect of me not listening to this when it came out, but I hope this makes up for it.
Yeah. That's a good one. Oh man.
Here's your plot twist.
That was a plot twist. I was like, wait, what year is it? Anywho, my number 14 is Free Spirit by Khalid. It's the sophomore album from this like amazing breakout star from American Teen. I think American Teen, a lot of people agree that American Teen is better. Free Spirit, I don't think it's not as tight, like knitly tight as American Teen was, but I like the cohesiveness of it more.
I have a question.
Yes.
What am I missing with Khalid?
Dude, okay. I feel you, because at the beginning of this year, I didn't really listen to him. And when we were going to hang out and he was one of the headliners, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, how is he number 4 streaming artist in the world? I wasn't vibing with him, but Autumn was vibing with him. Like, she's like, I love him. You need to listen to him. And I kept listening to American Teen. I was like, I don't really get it. This album came out, and this album made me a Khalid fan. And then I went back to listen to American Teen, and I was like, yo, I get it. Like, his voice is so different and interesting and beautiful. His production, while like very minimalistic, it works so well for him. And he talks a lot about like some deep things that I feel like a lot of people go through our age.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I first listened to it, though, I said, I think for American Teen, I was like, I think I'm too old for this album. Because he's like a couple years younger than us.
Yeah, he was in high school
He was
when
in high
American
school.
Teen came out.
Yeah, he was like late high school. I said, I think
What was I doing in high school?
Well, you weren't pinning people's locations because our phones didn't do that at that point. See what I'm saying? The technology that he had in high school, we didn't have in high school.
Yeah,
So-
shout out to us finding the first artist that has made something that we're too old for.
Exactly. That was like, I kind of woke me up and I was
yeah.
like, yeah, I think I'm too old for this. But that's why with Free Spirit speaks a lot more to me now in life as like an adult out of college and everything. This is him out of high school trying to find his place in the world. Should I what do I do? Do I become a free spirit? Do I just go on the road? Do I settle down some brass tacks? Do I get a house? Do I go traditional? And he tackles the idea of the American dream through all of his discography, which I think is super cool. He had some great. He had like 3 solid features on this, but like Talk with Disclosure came out as like the lead single. It's a bop. Then you had John Mayer just doing guitar, and you know me, I love my boy John Mayer, and he was great on it. And then probably my favorite song from the whole album is a song called Heaven, because it's written by Father John Misty.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And he got a call from Father John Misty and was like, yo, I got a song for you. And he said, you don't just say no to Father John Misty writing you a song for you specifically.
For sure.
And it's beautiful. And it's a long album. I think if it was a little bit shorter, I might have put it higher because it's 17 songs. It's almost an hour.
He didn't break an hour at 17 songs?
No. That is what is impressive. I mean, American Teen was 15 songs, and it was 54 minutes. It's only, this album now is only 3 more minutes, but 2 more songs. But, man, he's just something special. He's a great feature artist. I mean, he was featured way back on Logic. He did stuff with Benny Blanco, with Eastside that blew up last year. He released a new single this year. Did a song with Billie Eilish. Like, he's all over the place. He's the kind of artist that, like, you put him on a song with you, he's going to take that song from, like, a service level, and he's going to elevate it. And now I'm all over him. Like, I totally get it. He was one of my top 5 most streamed artists of this year because I can play him driving, I can play him chilling, I can play him cooking, or I can literally sit down and I can intensely listen to him. He covers all those bases so well because the more I listen to his music, I'm like, I get it. And he does the Adele thing where he's like, I'm going to make a song titled The Age of Whatever I Am when I write this album. So 18, which was Fire from American Teen, and then 21 from Free Spirit. I love a good age check, man. And I think I relate to him a lot more now. And whatever his 3rd album is going to be, I think it's going to be really great. And also, he performs incredibly. Because his set at Hangout, this boy dances. He's got dancers. But he's also super, super simple. Just like his music. Super simple. Extremely effective, though. Like his energy and his voice live.
Dope.
Ghostly.
I remember walking out and hearing a little bit of it, and I thought it was cool.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, and you know what, too? He's a nice guy. And I respect that a lot. Because you get a lot of these awesome artists, and you find out they're like assholes. And you're like, bruh.
Yeah, we like nice guys up in here.
We like nice guys. So, I appreciate his cute little, he's like little cute energy. So, I can talk about him forever. So, let's just move on. What you got?
All right. So, my number 13 brings us back to Mr. NF with The Search.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Whoa!
so,
I didn't know it was gonna be a little high for you.
Me
I'm sorry
neither.
I insulted you.
So,
Yikes. Okay.
Yikes.
That's good.
Mobby, bruh.
Why?
I don't know. For some reason, this album
He's like,
just,
I don't know. It's just
I really
good.
don't know. Like this, you know, like those things that you listen to that you're just like unsure about, and then they just like clicks, and you're like, all right, cool.
All right.
Like, that was this for me.
Yeah.
I remember when he put out he was putting out the singles for it.
Yeah.
And I watched the videos, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be more doom and gloom. NF like gonna be in a cage, gonna paint his face like a clown. He's gonna scare a small child. And,
SNF.
and like I was like, it's gonna be
Facts.
cool. Like the dude can rap, but I didn't expect to appreciate some of the things that he had to say in this as much as I thought as much as I ended up doing. And I feel like because I really love his old videos where he did the video on the plane.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that, but I really enjoyed the video for like when I grew up with all of the kids, and then him as a trash man, and like going through that. And I feel like I appreciate him more. And also, this is credit to you, where you showed me that song that he was on from Marty for President. All My Friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I really like started to like kind of understand him as a person.
Yeah.
A little bit more, and how he's not always all about this doom and gloom. Like he's a human. This is just kind of the part of him that we get. And I just remember listening to it and thinking, well, one, this is super long, and
For sure.
it's hour 16 minutes, 20 tracks. But I feel like this whole album is a whole lot of money, and it like, because usually I listen to NF and I stop because I don't feel good about myself anymore.
That is true.
It just makes me feel
Depressed?
like, sad.
Yeah.
And this one didn't really make me feel sad. This one made me. It was like this weird amount of like hope. that kind of was like poking its head.
We all need some hope.
It was like you open Pandora's box, you let all the bad shit out, and then, bless you, you get that little ray of hope that keeps everything alive. And I feel like this was kind of more in going in that direction a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I remember I mean, like, oh, it's NF. He's on the radio with that one song. He
Let you down.
Yeah, and I was like, that's cool. And I was like, that was fine.
That was his Logic 1-800 moment.
Yeah. And I remember there's a video of him at Iron City where he forgot the words to his radio hit.
I remember that.
And so he just started freestyling. And that was the moment that kind of started turning me into a fan of NF. Not just somebody that I was like, oh yeah, he can rap. But like, he was like, he can rap, and I'll sit down and listen to it. So I definitely thought that this album is probably this high because it surprised me in how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And how much, like,
I'm with you.
it did that, and it did that to the point where I go back to this. I don't go back to any other NF project. I go back to NF songs, and I like look for certain things that he has said, but I've never gone back to a whole project of his. And this was the first time I kind of sat down and was like, I listened to it the first time, like took a week away just doing other stuff, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this again. Started at the beginning, listened straight through, and that's something that I really appreciate, just growth wise. And also, I love that doom and gloom beat thing that he's on. That dark trap sound where he's not like triplet flowing, but he definitely could. And also, he's another guy where I'm ready for a flexing album. Like, just give me 7 songs of just.
I mean,
he flexed on a couple of
songs.
songs.
Mean, I just want to pay my bills.
Rap
about how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, but then, like, No Excuses and Returns are probably the 2 most flexy songs on this album.
This is true.
Because Returns is the one where he took a shot at Eminem. Maybe.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, he says he didn't, and I believe him. But
He didn't take a shot at Eminem.
No.
People are reaching.
It was
Eminem didn't take a shot at him either.
And I think it's because, like, when you first hear him, it is a little jarring. You're like, this low-key sounds like Eminem. And he's also from Michigan.
That's to say, but how much of that is like just a regional dialect thing?
Yeah. I feel like
that is a fair point.
Because even there's like black dudes that rap like Eminem that are from Detroit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fair.
It's not. I feel like it's about,
not him stealing.
Yeah.
I think the parallel, because a lot of people see a parallel in their persona too, because like Eminem has always been really dark.
Yeah.
Because like Eminem was this like battle rap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a knock your teeth out type of guy.
Yeah.
Just because he's super hard. Like,
but NF has never given us like a Slim Shady though.
No.
That's true. No.
Because like with Eminem we had Shady and Marshall.
Well, I mean, if you look at Therapy Session, came out in 2016. It's kind of what it was.
Parallel.
It was him in his internal monologue. It wasn't Shady because Shady's fucking like a crackhead.
Yeah.
But like, it was definitely a persona.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, bear with me, because like, all of his albums tie together loosely, because Mansion into Therapy Session. Mansion is like the rooms in his mind.
Yeah.
Of like all the different whatever, and then Therapy Session is getting it all out. Perception is he's in his own cage, like he's in the cage that he had the key to the whole time. Side note: Perception came out 2 years ago, but Intro 3, fire. But then in The Search, he's now out of his cage, but now he's looking for bigger meaning.
He's like, what do I do?
He's looking for bigger meaning, and so like, I think we're going to an interesting place, especially because Paid My Dues just came out, and it is a different vibe.
I think he's gonna drop another project. I think that's what that end of that video means. Is that
possible?
I think so, and I feel like that's gonna be the most quote unquote fun NF project we get.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, we need a fun NF project.
Yeah, please don't.
But I feel like that would like take him off brand so far.
But
you know what I mean?
And I say fun. I feel like it's gonna be
fun the NF way.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily fun.
It's gonna get.
But
it's
like
gonna be lighter than Therapy Sessions. Be lighter than Perception. I feel like. I feel like fun. It's not gonna be like he's like, yo, turn up.
No,
Like we're not gonna get that. But I feel like we are gonna get like a more like he's gonna flex a little bit, and I feel like I feel like he deserves it. If I'm being completely honest, just because he has been working super hard.
Yeah.
Just from like look at where he started and look at where he is now.
Right.
He went from work play to Iron City in like 7 months. that's not a thing that happens.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Also, shout out to him for coming to Birmingham
yeah,
twice.
for real.
Matter of fact, Workplay, Iron City, the arena in like 2 years.
Oh yeah, because he did on the last tour he did.
Yeah.
Wow, you're right.
Sidebar.
To blow up.
You know who else did that?
Who? 21 Pilots.
Bruh.
Wait, where did they play before Iron City?
They played Iron City on the Vessel Tour. That was it. They played Iron City on the Vessel Tour.
And then they came back and then they did
with
the Emotional Roadshow,
and
the arena.
Selling out arenas.
Yeah.
No, but see, we'll make that story even cooler. So they did the Nick before.
Oh, did they
Red
really?
Hot Chili Peppers
No,
did
as
the
if they
Nick.
did the
Oh,
Nick.
okay.
Oh, they did?
Red Hot Chili
When?
Peppers played at the Nick.
All right.
That's crazy. All right.
Wow, it's crazy. Anyways, digress. 13, we're going to revisit RAUL by WHATUPRG. So I'm going to say...
Those are so much closer than I thought. That
yeah,
makes me
these
feel
this is
better.
probably our closest one in like...
No, it's not, because I know what's coming.
Oh, really? All
not.
right. I'm just curious how like...
Spoilers.
Oh, you're right. This is probably our second closest one in like how much we agreed on how good this album is. I'm going to say two things firstly. Firstly, this is 6 songs in 15 minutes, and it's that high on my list. Why? Because he told a complete, cohesive story. Like Ryan said, this is a deep, dark, sad album.
He did, but there's more to the story.
But there's more to the story.
I'm
Yes.
gonna come back.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about that.
But like, it didn't end, and I was like, oh, that was too short. I didn't feel that.
True.
I felt like it ended well, and he utilized his time well. Because like the last song is like not even like 3 minutes. It's like 2 songs in one. Because out of nowhere it goes from like rock ballad hypeness to like this like choral like I feel like I'm about to like meet God. Like
Yeah.
I was lost kind of moment. Just dope. Anyways, I'm just gonna turn it over to Adam and just let him have at it and tell you why this album is so amazing.
All right, so first of all, RG, I will refer to him not as WHATUPRG, but as RG going forward. He's a young artist, technically speaking. But his ability, life experience, and connections make him a very prevalent artist, despite his age. He's our age. He's 24, or maybe 23. But what's so interesting about RAUL specifically is it wraps up the story that was started with his first EP called Pleasant Hill, which came out a couple years ago. So the general idea of the concept is Pleasant Hill, if I'm not familiar with, I've never been, but Pleasant Hill is a road in Gwinnett County. And so, which is in Georgia, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Because it's like outside of Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's from Gwinnett, which is outside of Atlanta, and Pleasant Hill is this long road. And the album art for Pleasant Hill is, fun fact, inspired by the video game cover for Fable.
Oh no way!
Shout
that
out.
makes so much sense.
Shout out
now.
Fable. But he's sitting on what looks like a pool, and you can see his reflection in the bottom half of the album cover. And he is wearing different clothes, and in the picture on top, looking down, he's passing an apple down, and the bottom picture, the one that's upside down, is eating the apple. And so the symbolism there is it goes into his alter ego known as Lil Holy.
Lil Holy.
So RAUL and Lil Holy are separate entities. So Pleasant Hill, I got to talk about it before I can talk about RAUL. Pleasant Hill talks about Lil Holy. And Lil Holy is the worldly eating the apple, some Eve references right there, of his persona. So it's the part of him that wants to give into culture. It's the part of him that wants to give into the vices of culture, so like drinking. And he has a song about where, I don't remember the name of the song off the top of my head right now. I'm not looking at it, but the hook is liquor bottles. So role models surrounded by open liquor bottles. That's what it is. And the song's called Role Models. And so it's him like coming to this realization that culture is not here for him. It's here for itself and only itself. And so there's an alternate track list that combines Pleasant Hill and RAUL.
Oh wow!
Into the complete story.
Whoa.
They're both EPs, but you put them together and it makes a full album.
And when this track list isn't just like, oh, we're just gonna glue the two together. It's intertwining the songs.
Yes.
Oh my.
So the general idea is
They're both 7 songs.
Yeah. So the first.
Are you alright? Do you need a moment?
Colton's about to
Are
pass
you
out
okay?
right now.
Are you
So
okay?
the first. Let me pull up this track list actually, because I've got it in front of me.
Sidebar.
So it's called what?
Rose Gold is probably one of
Rose
my
Gold is a bop.
Okay,
Rose
so
Gold's one
shout
of my
out
favorite songs ever.
Shout out Rapzilla. If you don't know who Rapzilla is the complex of Christian music or Christian hip hop. They're out there trying to be on the ground and have events and talk about up and coming artists and things like that. So
They also have a great tag.
Indeed. So they pieced together this track list with RG helping them out. Like RG was on Twitter with them, like saying, okay, this is what's next. And so it leads off with 4 a.m., which is on RAUL, so it's relevant. But 4 a.m. is the story of his dad's deportation. He says, I was just a kid, or no, sorry, that's later. But it talks about them literally knocking on his door at 4 a.m. and coming to deport his dad. Because his dad was a Mexican immigrant. And he goes into like the brokenness of society and Christianity that's allowed to happen. One of the lyrics on 4 a.m. that always stands out to me is basically he's saying he's having a conversation with somebody, and it's like, because half the pastors in America don't want my family in America. And then he goes on to say, even Jesus was an immigrant, but don't nobody seem to give a. And like, it's talking about the duality of Christian culture, and like some people are giving in to the culture more than they are the faith itself, because you go to a church that preaches one thing, but then you look at the words of Jesus who says something different, and it just gets overcomplicated. Anyway, going on, he talks about how good his dad was. He's like, all dad ever wanted to do is help people. So like he the only illegal thing he can remember ever him doing is driving the church bus without a license, but he's trying to get people to church. Like that was what he was doing. And so he doesn't see the justice in it. And so because of all of this pain, he creates Lil Holy to absorb it and become part of culture and numb out and drink and party and have girls and all this kind of stuff. But what's interesting is Pleasant Hill has lots of references to a female figure. At first, I will admit, I did not dig deep enough, and I thought he had a girlfriend that was like off and on again, off again at the time. But I come to find out it's Sin. The girlfriend is Sin. And it's all the darkness trying to keep him from leaving.
This like taking Pimper Butterfly with the whole references to Lucifer.
When you look
Yikes.
at the tail end, so role models surrounded by liquor bottles is him waking up and being holy crap, like this is where life is, like this is where I am. And then yellow paint comes in, which is on Pleasant Hill, but we gotta talk about yellow paint, because yellow paint is what kind of shows the transition from Lil Holy back to RAUL. And in yellow paint, hold up, I gotta pull it up. We gotta talk about some of the lyricism here, which oddly enough is the first song on Pleasant Hill. It's weird. But the tail end of it says, never saw life in her eyes, but every time I was approached, she told me keep things on the low. So he's saying like, I'm realizing now that there's no life there. Like that's not life, that's death. But she says, don't talk about that. Keep that on the down low. And but little did I know she came straight for my soul. So I hid from the truth, sweet like honey and the lips so smooth. He's talking about how like culture and sin like wants to pull you in, and it's like it's the attractive, it's the thing that holds you in. And then he says, you don't want to go anywhere away from me. If I hold you close, I can keep you from fearing. Let me be your buzz. We could fly light years through clear frontiers, but you might just die. And then he says, hold up. Hold up is the shift. But you might just die. Hold up. And he shifts and he's out. He's done. Lil Holy is no more.
This the wild part is that like I put this album so high, and I wasn't even aware of its duality with Pleasant Hill I just like this album because it sounds fire.
So now speaking strictly on Raul, Free is the last song of both projects.
Okay.
And it is the
freedom that he's looking for.
It's the culmination.
Yeah.
And he comes to this place of being able to say, like, I've been through it all. Like, I've been through hell, literally, almost. But I've realized from the other side that freedom is real, and it's there for me. It's there for everybody. And then, in addition to that, it really should have come after Free to me. You got Swish. Ballin' ever since, God with the assist. He's saying, like, I'm out of it now. We flexing. We out here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
RG truly to me is the entire, like, you can see the journey.
Yeah.
I talked in an earlier episode about Kanye, how it was a 180. Raul and RG is the journey. And
wherever you are,
that's
to like the path of Christianity.
That's the difference between Christian rap and gospel rap.
Yikes!
Is Christian rap is all about sticking with you in the fight.
Yo, can you send me that track list? Because I'm gonna listen to this. In order.
Yeah.
Like
so
that.
I'm gonna stop.
I had to take a moment the first time all this was explained to me because I was like, there is no way that they put that much thought into it.
It's wild. This is mind blowing.
It's wild. And they both 7 tracks. I mean, the duality, the continuity.
Yeah, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
To be honest. Okay. We're gonna do an entire show just about that.
Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
So moving on.
RG, if you listen, come on here and explain it.
Yeah, hit us
please.
All right, what you got, Ryan?
All right, so. Yo, hold on. I need a moment because I don't even remember what number we are. All right, we on 12.
Okay, cool.
All right, so my number 12 is Igor by Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that this album was the only way that he could possibly follow up Flower Boy.
Yeah, because Flower Boy was amazing.
Flower Boy was awesome, and Flower Boy was super, super different.
Yes.
And I feel like if he had come back with Wolf after Flower Boy, it just would not make
sense.
It would have worked for like hardcore Tyler fans.
Yeah.
But I feel like this album is showing how he's growing as like beyond just that rapper like moniker that he has, which I love rapping Tyler, but I appreciate this Tyler and the artistry and the thought that has gone into both this album and the live shows that have subsequently followed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gonna, and I love his relationship with A$AP Rocky, because I feel like this was an album that he kind of sat down, and there's a whole lot of like, I feel like this album made him nervous.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, because it's not anything that I ever thought Tyler the Creator, Goblin, would ever come out with something like this. Like, if I went back in time and showed Ryan in middle school, hey, this is Tyler the Creator now, I probably would have laughed and slapped myself in the face.
Yeah.
But I feel like this album, like, I remember it was Earthquake, and I remember watching that video and was like, there's no way he's going to commit to this for this long.
For sure.
And then he committed to it. And I really, really appreciate the fact that he did something like that. And then he also kind of let us know that he could still rap through his features. And then and one thing that I really wish kind of at the end, because I don't believe it's on any other Tyler project. He has that song with A$AP Rocky, kind of with A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky narrates it. But What the Fuck Right Now, that he put up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just them in a studio going nuts. And part of me wishes that had kind of just gotten tacked on at the end, as kind of like his reminder that also I do this rap thing. But I feel like this project in and of itself, like without the presence of quote unquote rap music, was really, really nice. And it was a bit of artistry and a bit of like, and it was the risk taking that I feel like artists need to do.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, like if you took this album to me at any point in time before now or pre-Flower Boy, you know, like this is what Tyler the Creator is going to end up doing, I would have laughed. And I'm like, that's not going to work. Because, like, on paper, him making soul music and, like, R&B does not fit.
No.
Like, just a whole bunch of reasons that
Straight up.
should not work.
Sure.
And yet it does. And I really, really appreciate somebody that can take something that different and that so completely different from themselves and make it really, really work. So, it's Igor.
Yeah, man, it's good. I think it should have replaced 7 EP for Album of the Year at the Grammys, and
Yes.
this is a fact.
Yes.
This is a fact. Okay, moving on. Number 12. I'll touch on. I think we'll touch on this more later. I'll just touch on this for now. Is Lowercase Tape by No Big Deal.
All right.
So
I'm gonna talk now. You can talk, but
It comes up again.
well,
I got you. I
got it in my brain right now.
All right. So all I'm gonna say then about Lowercase Tape is that it's just straight fire. It is just straight fire, and it also is fire plus like it's deep. So you know what, Adam, tell me, why is this album so freaking good?
All right. So, No Big Deal, also known as Dilly the Kid, also known as Young Dylan Simba.
Also known as Mixtape Dilly going on tour.
Yeah, for real. He is a very storied artist with the industry. He is the proprietor of a collective known as Indie Tribe. Make sure that it's all lowercase with a period. And it is a group of artists which includes WHATUPRG, which we just talked about, as well as Jerry Mana, Mowgli, the Iceberg, and I think that's it. That's it. Yeah. They are all very talented artists, but No Big Deal is definitely the headliner of them. He signed with Capitol Records and released 2 projects with them. Solar being the most recent one that he released with them, and it was good. But like I mentioned before, earlier in this episode, I believe, somebody somewhere told No Big Deal that he wasn't allowed to rap. He needed to do some hooks and make sure that it was melodic and make sure that it sounded poppy-ish. And that's what Solar was, except for like 2 songs. And then he got out his deal. He got his master's back. He is an independent artist. And since then, he is proving to everyone that he can, in fact, rap.
This is a
so,
fact.
Lowercase Tape is the second phase of his career. He's launching into a new phase of his career, being an independent artist now. Got all his masters back. He's doing everything independent. He works with a ton of really cool producers on this album, or mixtape is what he's calling it. Notably, On Beat Music, which is a huge CHH producer, has done a lot of work with No Big Deal in the past, as well as people like Derek Minor and Social Club Misfits. And then also Carvello, which is a huge producer in the CHH space, working with tons of people. But then even better than the producers are the features on this ish. Because
talk about it.
He has 1K Few, which I consistently forget how good 1K is. And that is not meant to be a shot.
No.
Like, I'm not saying I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's not typically one of my rotating artists that I listen to, just because his style is not necessarily my style. But I forget how good of an artist he is. Like, he's so talented. So 1K, Caleb Mitchell. If you don't know Caleb Mitchell, you got to look him up. My boy can rap.
Yeah.
And then Ty Brazil, which is one of my sleeper artists of all time. That man needs more recognition than he gets, coming from Memphis, Tennessee. And then Paris Chariz. Again, super genuine guy. Awesome. Got to meet him. Super cool. Also is just so much drip. So much swag.
Big wave.
And then to tie it all out, we have Tim Gent and Aaron Cole. And so Aaron Cole is another up-and-coming artist who's really good that had a good album come out this year.
Didn't Aaron Cole win Best New Artist at Dove Awards?
Yeah. But the biggest points of this album is the fact that it came with some of the best beats I heard this year.
Mm-hmm.
Styx and Voss have some of the greatest beats I've ever heard in my life.
Amen.
And all of it is centered around Indie Tribe, the South, him being an independent artist. Like, it all is just like, we did it. like we kind of been stuck in this fight for a while, and we did it. And this is our celebration piece. I mean, he dropped it a day later on Dat Piff. He dropped this ish on Dat Piff.
That's some street ish.
Yeah, like he wanted it to be super like mixtapey, like super.
Yeah.
And when the physical copies are straight up like
Memrex.
Memrex
CDs.
It says lowercase tape in Sharpie. Like that's where we are.
And you know what? I want to buy one for $12.
Exactly. But then when you break it down though, it has a lot of notable things like the Rafiki intro by a guy named DJ Mikey OV, as well as the intro to Fieldhouse Freestyle, or the interlude to it, is he's talking about the culture. Like in Rafiki, he's saying like, don't give in to what other people want you to. Just be you.
Yeah.
And then in Fieldhouse Freestyle, he's like, yo, this is a certified hood classic, #1.
Yes.
And then he says, I need 2 throwback jerseys, 2 Nike headbands, and a pair of white forces. That's some street-ish, and they wanted it to be so authentic, and I think they really achieved it.
I agree.
It feels like a mixtape in the best way, but it still brings this certain level of quality with the production, especially. But then the tail end of the album with songs like Faith and Patience, Right My Wrongs, and Daydreams are all super like not melodic but like very like emotional songs.
They're like reflectionary.
Because Faith and Patience is I threw shots at Satan, they were Faith and Patience. It's just like that's like those are the things that hurt the devil the most is Faith and Patience. And then Right My Wrongs is like I told my baby I would never raise my voice. Like it's talking about like relationships and stuff like that. And it's just really cool. And then 2 Weeks Notice is a flex on the label.
Yeah,
saying,
like,
I walked in the
out.
label and gave them 2 weeks notice. Hey, anyway,
like peace out, label.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
so
go independent.
It's just this super authentic discussion of independence as an artist and as a Christian and as a person, and it's so good.
It's so good. It is
so good.
It is an amazing piece of music, not just in the CHH world, but it just in the world of music in general, which is why it is so high for me.
Yeet.
All right, so my number 11 is by a guy named Dabin. And Dabin is one of those artists that are in the same vein as Illenium. In fact, he is in Illenium's band.
Interesting.
For Illenium's live shows, he does, upon occasion, he will hop up there and play with that. When they do the full band show, he hops up there and plays guitar with them. This album was one that I saw it came out and was kind of nervous to listen to because this was when I was in the middle of my just pure dubstep run of earlier this year, and I was like, maybe I don't need to have any variants, and I'll just kind of keep it. But I'm really, really glad that I listened to it because it turns out this album hits. This album hits hard, and it's so good. Like it has its light moments, but it also has these moments where you could tell he just put so much emotion into that production, and there's like the sound design in this is so good. And I feel like this is one of those albums that, and I'm glad that I found him beyond his songs being used in sets by groups like Black Tiger Sex Machine or Excision, who are like 2 of the biggest EDM artists of the times right now. And this album is ranked so high for me just because of the surprising nature of it, where it wasn't necessarily just like bang your head, wop, 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 things like that. But it kind of hinted at it, where it had that little bit of variety where it kind of had stuff that you could mosh to. But also, like, you could immediately after hug your friend and start crying. And that was something that I really, really appreciated in there. It's also the fact that there's no artists that are featured on here that are bigger than he is. And that is something that I think is really cool because this album is like, hey, this is my music. But also, look at all of these other people that I'm friends with that also make great things.
Putting your friends on your music.
Exactly. And I really, really appreciate the fact that he is on a label that contains guys like Kaiwachi and Black Tiger Sex Machine who make music that is just absolute slappers. And he can give us something that you can sway, you can hold a lighter up to, like you can just cry a little bit with it. And so that is Wild Youth by Dabin.
Dude, Good stuff. All right, I'm going to take us home on this episode here with my number 11 being Crying in the Prettiest Places by No Rome. So No Rome is this really small artist who was founded by none other than Matty Healy of the 1975.
Oh, Turn Up. Yeah. I remember that.
So he has been the opener for their most recent tour that they had for the last album. And Matty Healy, like, did production and featured on one of his songs, his number one song being Narcissist. And I saw him like perform that song at Hangout during the 1975 set. This guy, him and there's one other artist, but him and this other artist are the two people that I can literally not name a single person that makes music the way that they do, because their sound is so
That's cool.
interesting.
That's so cool.
And it's amazing.
I haven't listened to them, but
it's his. This one is his second EP. The first one was 4 songs, like R.I.P. Endo Hayashi. Super good. Thought it couldn't be topped because I listened to it like nonstop last year. False, because this one is 6 songs. Another short album that is up here for me because it's just so good. It has a start and an ending. Every song is amazing. It opens with like hardcore rock and it ends with like this like funky Tokyo pop. Like, it's so good, and he's so interesting. His marketing is great. His photographer is amazing. I listened to this album probably the most out of any album this year just because it is so repeatable. I will listen to this album on loops for hours. I listen to the same song from this album multiple times in a row. It's just that good. I'm truly think I'm about to go buy it on vinyl. And you can only buy it like by ordering it on the Dirty Hit, which is the record label he belongs to, founded by 1975. Dirty Hit's record label store, which only takes pounds and then converts them to US dollars after your credit card runs. So I'm like, yo, it's worth it because it's just it's just that good. And he is hopefully about to drop like his like first full length project soon. Like, he uses 2 EPs to kind of get the waters
establish
wet.
himself.
Sure,
Yeah, he has 2 singles out now, and we're gonna hopefully see, like, he's been teasing that the next one. He's like, this is the 12th song. This is the big one, and it's gonna be fire. It could be number 1 next year. I'm anticipating top 5 next year. Because it's just that good. Like, No Rome is hella slept on, super tiny, and literally I believe every single person should go listen to him because he will change the way that you think about music. Straight up. And the only reason it's not in the top 10 is probably just because of its length. If it was a full length, it'd probably be like number 1 or 2. Straight up. All right, well, that's going to finish up episode number 9, and into now we go the last episode, the top 10. So tune in next time as we count down the top 10 albums of 2019. There is no holds barred.
No jokes.
Shots fired.
No albums from 2018 that I felt bad that I missed in 2018.
Facts. All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to hit us up at our social media platforms and let us know how you're feeling, and if you're liking what we're doing, if you agreed or disagree with this episode, liking what we're doing, hit us up. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace. Love you.
Peace.
Bye.